Now, by the way, Marcy, before you start.
I now call to order this meeting of the Energy and Water Development Subcommittee. Welcome to the fiscal year 2023 Energy and Water Development Subcommittee markup. Take note of the word development. In our subcommittee's title, our charge is progress for our nation coast to coast. In our effort, I'm joined by my constructive colleague and good friend, Mike Simpson, the ranking member. I also want to welcome the hardworking full committee chair, Ms. DeLauro, Ranking Member Granger, and all of the subcommittee members who are here in person and those participating by secure video teleconference. This is a hybrid meeting, so we need to address a few housekeeping matters before I move to my opening statement. For the members joining virtually, once you start speaking, there's a slight delay before you are displayed on the main screen. Speaking into the microphone activates the system to display the speaker on the main screen. Do not stop your remarks if you do not immediately see the screen switch. If the screen does not change after several seconds, please make sure you are not muted. To minimize background noise and ensure the correct speaker is being displayed, please, we ask you remain on mute unless you have sought recognition. Myself or staff I designate may mute participants' microphones when they are not under recognition to eliminate inadvertent background noise. Members who are virtual are responsible for muting and unmuting themselves. If I notice when you are recognized that you've not unmuted yourself, I will ask the staff to send you a request to unmute yourself. Please then accept that request so you are no longer muted. Finally, House rules require me to remind you that we've set up an email address to which members can send anything they wish to submit in writing at any of our hearings. That email address has been provided in advance to your staff. Now, I would like to move to my opening statement. Today, we will consider the fiscal year 2023 Energy and Water Development and Related Agencies Bill. This legislation meets the needs of the current moment by propelling American energy independence and our nation's security forward. Our bill continues the intensive focus on diversifying energy sources and managing increasingly precious water resources to sustain life on Earth. As we address events on the world stage right now, the imperative of national energy independence again moves center stage. It is essential to national security and global stability. Russia is using natural gas supplies as a hybrid weapon of economic warfare to disrupt supplies across Europe and create instability in global energy markets. The great progress our nation has made in the last 40 years to restore our nation's energy security is impressive. America cannot be dependent on foreign adversaries to power our way of life. This bill ensures American inventors, scientists, workers, and American companies power our future at an accelerating rate. In the 20th century, America slid into reliance on imported oil for the nation's energy needs. Thanks to the diligent work of the Department of Energy, our research labs, our precious inventors, our universities, and the private sector, America now leads the world as the largest net exporter of natural gas, a major producer of renewables, nuclear sources, hydro, biofuels, and so much more. We are making progress. Fossil fuels are part of America's current energy strategy and will be in the years ahead. But with prices rising and certain supplies shrinking, America must embrace our future and continue to lead on energy innovation. Deploying a diverse array of renewable energy sources from wind and hydrogen to solar, hydro, and biomass is necessary and vital. In Ranking Member Simpson's district, advanced nuclear energy is being developed to meet future demand. We cannot allow China and other nations to outwork and outcompete America in this critical space, and that is why I'm excited by this bill's forward-thinking investments in Defense Production Act capabilities for domestic solar and critical supply chain industries. The bill includes $100 million to grow the American energy supply chain faster. In so doing, America protects itself as we create reliable living wage jobs in the energy sector for hardworking American families. This is surely important, for example, in my region of Northwest Ohio, which is home to American solar companies First Solar and Toledo Solar that are creating the new America. The energy sector has been one of America's fastest-growing job sectors. In the years prior to the pandemic, energy sector employment expanded twice as much as the overall economy. Now, turning to water, this bill provides necessary resources for water agencies to rebuild crumbling infrastructure. This bill addresses the worsening drought conditions that are plaguing the West and the historic flooding incidents we have all witnessed at Yellowstone most recently, but also in Houston, in St. Louis, in the Mid-Atlantic, and in New England, to name a few. Let me briefly walk through the investments we make in this funding bill. The bill provides $8.9 billion for the Army Corps of Engineers, an increase of $2.3 billion above the budget request to meet immediate needs. It provides $1.9 billion for the Bureau of Reclamation, an increase of $480 million above the budget request, including programs to respond to the severe western drought. It provides $48.2 billion for the Department of Energy, an increase of $3.3 billion above enacted. And within the Department of Energy, the bill provides historic levels of funding across energy and science programs, including $4 billion for energy efficiency and renewable energy, $800 million above enacted. Recognizing that buildings consume about 40% of energy in the United States, the bill includes $370 million for weatherization of over 40,000 homes occupied by families of modest means, $8 billion for the Office of Science, $525 million above enacted, $550 million for ARPA-E, $100 million above enacted to invent the future. Additionally, the bill responsibly funds America's nuclear deterrent and increases funding for nonproliferation programs. In short, this bill provides critical funding for America's energy security, water infrastructure, and a strong nuclear deterrent, all in support of good-paying jobs in every state and region of America. I'd like to thank our subcommittee members for their engagement and express my deep gratitude to Ranking Member Simpson. I'd also like to thank Chair DeLauro and Ranking Member Granger. Finally, I'd like to thank the staff who worked tirelessly to put this bill together: Jamie Shimmick, Scott McKee, Brian Smith, Will Ostertag, Daniela Tedesco, Eric Lipka, John Howes, and Angie Giancarlo. Finally, I'd like to especially thank Jamie Shimmick for her dedicated and faithful service as clerk, excellent clerk, of this subcommittee, and for her work on behalf of the American people as she prepares to move on to her next adventure. She is the consummate professional in her dealings. We value her integrity, intelligence, deep patriotism, and good nature. All the while, she's handled some of the most complex challenges facing our nation. Jamie, your service is a credit to your generation of patriots. We will miss you dearly, Jamie, and I and we all wish you all the best in your next endeavor in Washington State. I will now turn to Mr. Simpson for opening remarks.
Thank you, Chairwoman Capter. I'd like to thank you for presenting the Energy and Water Bill today. I know that you and the Energy and Water staff worked very hard to put this bill together in a relatively short time, given the timing of when we received the budget request materials. The bill addresses individual members' priorities from both sides of the aisle, and I thank the Chair for that consideration. In particular, strong support for the Army Corps of Engineers, including specific community project funding and additional programmatic funding, has long been a bipartisan priority. Of great importance to me, of course, is the Department of Energy Nuclear Energy Program. I appreciate the Chairwoman's efforts to address many of my priorities within this account. While I might have allocated funding within the program a little differently, including additional funding for the Advanced Small Modular Reactor demonstration, I am pleased to see continued support for work on microreactors, including the MARVEL program, for work to ensure a supply of high-assay, low-enriched uranium, which will be necessary for many of the next generation of reactors and for the national laboratory infrastructure necessary to enable these activities to succeed. Unfortunately, these individual good items, in spite of these individual good items, the bill is based on a funding level that passed the House without Republican support. Like the President's budget request, the majority's Energy and Water Bill overfunds certain non-defense programs and shortchanges our national security needs. For example, the bill before us is below the budget request for weapons activities and naval reactors, a budget request that was insufficient considering the current global threat situation. On the other hand, the bill increases energy efficiency and renewable energy activities by more than 25% over last year, and that's on top of the tens of billions of dollars of infrastructure bill programs still in the early stages of development. With inflation at the highest level in 40 years, we need to be more judicious about how much and where we allocate discretionary appropriations. I look forward to working together as this bill moves through the legislative process to develop a final energy and water bill that reflects a balanced need and set of priorities that can be supported by members on both sides of the aisle. In closing, I'd like to again thank Chairwoman Capter. I've enjoyed working with you in a bipartisan way to solve some of the problems that we face in this country that you rightfully point out. And I'd like to thank the staff, all of the staff, both the majority and minority, for their hard work on this bill. And as you mentioned, I understand this is the last subcommittee markup for our majority clerk, Jamie. Jamie, thank you for your dedication to this committee over the past several years, and I wish you the best as you return to the great Pacific Northwest, which, frankly, being from the Pacific Northwest tells me that she's smarter than I am. So I thank Chairwoman, and I yield back.
Thank you, Ranking Member Simpson. I now yield to the full committee chair, Rosa DeLauro, for her remarks.
Thank you very much, Chairman Capter, and thank you, Ranking Member Simpson, and to all of the members of the subcommittee for your work on this bill. And thank you to the Energy and Water Development Subcommittee staff. I want to especially thank, as we all have, our subcommittee clerk, Jamie Shimmick, for her work. After a wonderful career with the Appropriations Committee elsewhere in the Congress and with the administration, Jamie will be moving on from our team to tackle new endeavors in her home state of Washington at one of the Department of Energy's national labs. Jamie, we will miss you dearly, but wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life, and thank you for your stewardship of the important programs in this bill since you joined the committee in 2017. The bill before us meets so many of our most pressing energy, water infrastructure, and climate challenges. We are building on critical investments in the 2022 spending package to confront the climate crisis, increase energy security, rebuild our water infrastructure, while creating American jobs and supporting economic development all over America. As we know well, this bill impacts every corner of our nation, and its impact is profound. But today, Americans are struggling with the high price of gas at the pump. We know that. It is why, as corporate greed drives up prices, Democrats are passing bills to crack down on price gouging and excessive price increases by big oil companies to lower energy costs for American families. And to help ensure this never happens again, we are taking action to increase America's energy independence and diversify our energy sources, including by accelerating the transition to renewable energy. We are escalating changes to our energy supply and consumption to start addressing what we are experiencing now, where crises abroad, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and Putin's unyielding pursuit of power, combined with oil company greed, are impacting energy and gas prices here. These high prices make a difference in people's lives every day. It affects their ability to make ends meet, and it matters to our national and our global security. With more than $16 billion in transformative investments for programs focusing on clean energy and science, this bill confronts the climate crisis through the development of clean, affordable, and secure American energy. With $4 billion for energy efficiency and renewable energy, $8 billion for the Office of Science, we are securing our global leadership in energy innovation and in the transition to a global clean energy economy. We continue to responsibly strengthen our nuclear deterrent and protect our national security. We are meeting our obligations to environmental cleanup efforts and to the health and safety of all Americans. And as we tackle energy challenges and climate change, we are also rebuilding our nation's water infrastructure. With $8.9 billion for the Army Corps of Engineers, $1.9 billion for the Bureau of Reclamation, we are investing in programs to protect communities from more frequent and severe storms that address the worsening drought in the West. We must improve the resiliency of our water infrastructure so that it can withstand devastating natural disasters, keep Americans safe, and strengthen the flow of goods through our ports. Through these and other critical initiatives, this bill strengthens our economy, supports the workers too often left behind. We will create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in communities across the country as we deploy clean energy technologies and support economic and community development and job training opportunities. As the members of this subcommittee know well, this bill impacts every single one of us. It is a good bill, and I'm proud that its investments in cutting-edge progress will set us on a course for a clean, affordable, and secure energy future. With that, I again thank Chairwoman Capter and Ranking Member Simpson, and look forward to working with you as we move to the full committee consideration. I urge my colleagues to support this important bill, and I yield back.
Thank you, Chair DeLauro. Are there any other members wishing to speak on the bill? Are there any amendments to the bill? Seeing none, I would like to recognize Ms. Susie Lee for a motion, and I ask for your support for this bill.
Madam Chair, I move to favorably report the Energy and Water Development Appropriations Act 2023 to the full committee.
The question is on the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. I ask unanimous consent that the staff be permitted to make technical and conforming changes to the bill and report just approved. Seeing no objection, so ordered. A bit of housekeeping. Please make sure you leave all copies of your bill and report on the dais. With that, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you all.